to Tony Burke, who I've got to say is once again having an Oprah Winfrey moment where everyone gets a citizenship because it's now spread across the country. A reminder, it's this one. Except everybody gets a citizenship, don't they? Now, Burke has taken his citizenship national tour to Perth, where he's the headline act. There he is, front row in the state, which could decide the election. So, therefore, it's no coincidence that, according to the Australian, WA Labor MPs, who are facing tough battles to keep their own seats, were Burke's guest of honour at the Perth citizenship event yesterday. And surprise, surprise, outside the auditorium, Australian Electoral Commission officials were kept busy by newly sworn-in Australians wanting to enrol to vote. Well, are you shocked? Because I certainly am not. Once again, Burke thinks we're all mugs, as if we don't realise what Labor is doing here. He has turned his citizenship national tour into a campaign rally of sorts for Labor. Western Sydney one week, Perth another, and now he's taking the show to Brisbane and Toowoomba next week. I mean, seriously, have you ever seen a more desperate government rushing around, scurrying around the country to shore up votes from 12,500 new citizens? And this branch stacking operation is weaponising citizenship at a time when it's also taking away the importance of becoming an Australian. We know you need citizenship to vote. You need it at least a week before an election to be able to cast it. So Labor can spare us this was all about efficiency nonsense. And we know it started last week in Western Sydney when 4,500 people gained citizenship, the majority in battleground seats there, Fowler being one of them, held by independent Daly, on a margin of just 1.4%. Now, Daly has also been very critical of Burke's citizenship sideshow after being conveniently snubbed from the event, while Labor's Fowler candidate, Tu Lee, was front and centre with new voters. So it's hardly a coincidence the Prime Minister this week snubbed Daly again, this time from a function to mark 50 years of the Vietnamese Australian community. Instead, once again, Tu Lee, the candidate, was invited to take part. Now, it hasn't gone unnoticed by the current independent.
Being the 50th anniversary of the Vietnamese Australian contribution to Australia, I thought I would have been there as the only federal member of Parliament. Yeah. And I think that, they've snubbed me in the past with the citizenship ceremony. So this is really, Labor doing a campaign.
Now, Daly is a prominent member of the Vietnamese community, the first Australian Vietnamese of refugee background to win a seat as an independent. Yet Albo clearly did not think that she was prominent enough for an invite to mark the Vietnamese community's contribution to Australia. And it's so blatantly obvious why. Daly poses a threat to Labor. She could provide the Coalition and Peter Dutton a very important vote in the event of a minority government. So no wonder Labor is tying itself in knots to boot her from the seat, which, let's not forget, Labor lost in 2022 when it desperately tried to parachute Christina Keneally in. And Albanese can keep fobbing off Burke's tour and Burke can keep denying he's politicising it, but gee, the evidence doesn't stack up. Why then did Burke instruct his staff to schedule his calendar around photo opportunities with new citizens? Spare me. The game is up. And in the meantime, look out, because Tony Burke is coming to a citizenship ceremony near you.